Hello, folks. Welcome to the Tuesday night edition of UGTV. We're coming to you tonight from our studios on Jack Burr Pike in LaFollette, Tennessee, US of A. And we're just tickled to death that all of you have tuned in. If you got to us by way of LaFolletteNews.com, we're real pleased that you did because LaFolletteNews.com, one of our new sponsors, has all the news all the time and any number of things that you might want to look at online, and I think it's one of the most comprehensive news programs that you'll find anywhere. I'm real pleased to be associated with it, and I know I'm showing an awful lot of flesh tonight, but don't panic. You will not see any more cleavage than what you're seeing. That's all the news all the time. LaFolletteNews.com, and you can get to UGTV through LaFolletteNews.com, or you can get to LaFolletteNews.com through UGTV, and you might can wind all of it up in Hillbilly TV. I'm not sure. It's ugtv.tv or LaFolletteNews.com, and you can go find the weather. You know, I looked 2 or 3 times today, and I'm pretty sure that everything's up to date because I looked at the obituary 4 or 5 times and I wasn't in it no time. So I'm sure they have purged all the live people out of the obituaries. And of course it could be like down in Georgia, you have to be, you can vote for 2 years after you're. What are we killing here? Huh? My partner in crime here just swatted something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, you know, but he's a little bit under the weather tonight. The reason I'm here by myself, he's got a cold, he's got the flu, he's got the stemper, he's got all sorts of things that's bothering him. So I'm going to be your host tonight, and if you got any comments, if you got anything that's been stolen, if you got any current news you want to share with us, if you got any thing complimentary to say about what goes on here in La Follette, be sure and call us, because we would rather hear good news than bad news. If you've got bad news, you might as well spill it also, because we will share with our viewers the good and the bad. And I might mention something that you probably will read in the newspaper about Thursday, and that's I had a friend, and this does not speak very good from what goes on up here, but she was walking up the road to the store. She was forced into an automobile at gunpoint. An attempt was made to rape her, as she was successful in fighting the assailant off and getting out of the automobile. And they did catch him within not too long. And I'm going to compliment the police department for being very, very prompt. The Follette Police Department caught him, and they charged him with kidnapping, attempted rape. They charged him with illegal possession of a gun. I think the man was a felon, I'm not sure. They charged him with several other counts against him, and I understand that he is cooling his heels in one of the Campbell County jails. I'm not sure exactly which one he's in. It was in number 1, number 2, or number 3. And so I believe, it won't be long before you'll have a choice as to which jail you go into. Well, it's number 1, number 2, number 3. I think they Did I hear that they're going to turn number one into a ladies' facility? I think I heard that somewhere. Someone may want to call in and comment on that a little bit. But whatever. If you're riding down Jacksboro Pike early in the morning or any time up until 12 o'clock noon, 7 days a week, you can pull right into Rainbow Restaurant. They're right there past the little whoopie-doos, right after you go past Hunter's Branch. As you come up the hill there, past the church, they'll be right on the right. They've been there a long, long time, and it never ceases to amaze me how they can continually put out such good food, such good service at such a low price. They got a breakfast up there, bacon or sausage, grits or hash browns, 2 eggs, toast or biscuits for $2.99. Well, it takes the chicken more than that just to lay that egg, those 2 eggs. So you can't beat that. They also got a breakfast bar. You go in there and just eat all you want, and I'll tell you, it's loaded. And they have a 99-cent bologna biscuit. You can't beat that. Big old thick slab of bologna on it. A good old piping hot biscuit. That's Rainbow Restaurant. They're early in the morning till 12 o'clock, and you can pick up a good old burger basket and take it with you, and you have a complete daily diet right there at Rainbow Restaurant. And you can come on down Jacksboro Pike a little bit further if you want to, and you'll find Ronnie's Metal Emporium. That's better known as not Rainbow, but as Circle R Metals. He's got a good sale going on metals. He's got plenty of doors. He's got 7-foot 2x4s. He's got 8-foot 2x4s. He's got kitchen rugs. He's got vinyl siding. He's got the flu too right now, and he'd be glad to sell that to you, or he might just share it with you or give it to you. That's whichever one you want. And so he's a little bit under the weather right now, but he's got all those goodies. And on top of that, he's got sinus problems. So he's just all batched up right now. So you can drop into Ronnie's Emporium, better known as Circle R Metals, and just get whatever you want. And right next to him is my little shindig of a place. It's called Wild Bob's. Wild Bob's. That's what it's called, Wild Bob's. And just come on in. I've got bedroom items, mattresses, springs. I've got single beds, double beds, queen size beds. I've got washers, and I guarantee my washers. I got electric dryers, and I guarantee my electric dryers. And I put out a mini one. I think I sold 8 or 10 units last week. And every one of them is a satisfied customer. I don't have anybody that's up there cussing Wild Bob because their appliance won't work. I guarantee them my prices are reasonable. We have delivery available, and we do back up what we say. Not only that, but I got plenty of baby items. I've got toasters, coffee makers. I got electric meat slicer. If anybody wants an electric meat slicer, where you can, you want to get you one of them big old round slabs of bologna, and you want to put it on meat slicer and just slide it through there. It'll cut it whatever thickness you want. It'll cut it so thin you can read the newspaper through it, or it'll cut a big old fat piece of bologna where you can have a good old bologna sandwich, and about as big as what you get down at Rainbow Restaurant. I've got fishing poles. I also got, for those of you who might be interested, I have a Remington 270 rifle. It's new. I don't think the gun's ever really been shot. I got a box of shells with it too, and it's got a real expensive scope on it. That's a 270 Remington rifle, and a beautiful gun. And I've got a 12 gauge Winchester automatic shotgun. I believe it's got a 30-inch barrel on it. It's got the rib sight. And had a fellow come in there the other day, and he was looking at it, and he was supposed to be a gun expert. And he told me, he says, you know that piece of metal up the middle there, says they put that on there to reinforce that barrel. I said, yeah. I said, that's in case you want to shoot up at the top of a tall tree. You don't want to strain or bend your barrel. I said, that's exactly the reason that they put that on there. I said, oh, incidentally, they charge you extra for that, and it makes the gun worth more. And I said, some people are kind of mistaken. They call it a rib sight. So I do have a Winchester automatic shotgun with one of them reinforcing rib sights running up the middle of the barrel. And it's a fine gun, beautiful gun. And the only thing else of my personal guns that I have for sale, I have a 357 Ruger Blackhawk with pearl handle, 6-inch barrel, and I'm going to sell that gun. So that's all I got. I got a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol, and those are my own personal guns that I'm going to sell. So if anybody's interested in them, just have them give me a buzz, and I'll be glad to give them a few more details on them. I've had these guns for a pretty good while, and but I think I'm going to go ahead and sell them if anybody wants to buy them. But that's some of the things I got at Wild Bob's, and just drop on in. We may have something completely different. I got a real beautiful bedroom suite coming, a leather love seat and couch and matching chair. I've got refrigerators. I've got a double door refrigerator. I've got a little single door refrigerator coming. I've got one big refrigerator. It's just a top freezer and bottom refrigerator. And I got rugs, and I got TVs, and I've got some computers, and I've got a number of things there. But if you go back up the 4-lane and look over on Old Jacksboro Pike, you'll see one of the 7 wonders of the world. You'll see Dixie Concrete, a place that makes concrete so hard that they will not even let their formula out to anybody else. They got big yellow trucks. They deliver good concrete at a reasonable price. Give you a good measure for what you order. They sell not only concrete, but they sell septic tanks, they sell the field lines, they sell the stuff that goes into the field line. They got sand, they got gravel, they got whatever you want there. So anytime you need anything, just drop into Dixie Concrete right there on the Old Jacksboro Pike, and they will take care of what you need. You know, as we look around us here, we had 85-degree weather today. Beautiful weather. That's the reason I'm always dressed out here in my shorts, you know, and because I love spring and summer and fall weather when it's good and warm. And I always love to go barefooted, and don't go barefooted anymore like I used to, but I still love to go barefooted, and I love to wear shorts. I love to go without my shirt, and naturally I've about always gone without a hat. About the only time I've ever worn a hat really is when we do our show here, and it's been kind of sometimes things. I got a bunch of different hats, but I used to go bareheaded and let my son, at the top of my head, get sunburned. But I love this weather, gorgeous weather. Need to be careful when you go out by the White Bridge. There's not much activity over there, and I think they've done it right to reduce the speed there. I think there ought to be somewhat of a limit to that, you know, as to maybe late at night cutting the lights off. I don't know whether that's any big deal or not. But one thing I think maybe they ought to do, they have the 25 mile an hour speed zone that starts before you get to the bridge if you're going out Denver. And there's never a sign that says, as far as I know, as far as that sign's concerned, that you're still in a 25 mile an hour zone when you get all the way out past Denver Mark. I don't know. And then when you're coming in the other way, right when you get into the curve, right after you get into the curve, coming into the White Bridge, it's 25 mile an hour. And I guess that just goes on and on until Denver Mark of that road just runs out, because it never says resume speed or end the speed zone. So I guess you have to kind of take it as it goes and drive with a little common sense. But I just wonder if I was out there, if I couldn't get caught for speeding way on out Denver, because there's no signs that says the speed limit has changed from 25 back to whatever the open highway speed is up through there. So we need to maybe to do something about that. But I love pretty weather like this. I'm thinking about maybe going fishing tonight when I get through with the show. And I got a big old light. I'll see if I can catch me some of those crappie or whatever you want to call them. They're good to eat. And or I might go to another place where I believe the walleyes are running pretty good. It's pretty good ways away. I don't know whether I'll go there tonight or not. But with summer coming, you have an extended day. You get up in the morning, like I get up like about 7:30, and it really hadn't turned all that light then. But after having coffee and say about 8:15, it's usually pretty good weather outside to go ahead and start my working day. And I got kind of amused. I went to North Carolina last weekend, and I carried someone with me who's from Campbell County originally, and he could not get over the fact. He says, says the sun here comes up at ground level. I said, yeah, I guess so. I said, some places up in Campbell County, the sun don't come up at 11 or 12 o'clock, And he was really amazed because it's flat country, and about, like I say, just after 7 in the morning, you see that big old round sun right there on the horizon, looking just about as big as sometimes it does up here when it's setting in the afternoon. And but he said, yeah, the sun comes up at ground level down here, doesn't it? I said, yeah, it always has, and I guess it always will unless they put something in the way. And but he enjoyed the trip down, and it was a change of pace for him, and it was not anything for me because it's something I was used to. But we have beautiful weather here, and hopefully we'll have pretty weather all summer long. Maybe we will not have such a rash of tornadoes and thunderstorms and windstorms that we've had back in previous years. And I believe it was about 1 year back maybe a week ago that line of tornadoes came through Tennessee and hurt a lot of people, killed some people, and tore up an awful lot of property. But maybe we won't have that again. But if you're a little bit concerned about the weather, all you got to do is go to lafolletnews.com and click on the weather. It will also give you the latest stock market report, probably tell you how much gold brings, any number of things like that. And they have some other items of local news that I'm sure you'll appreciate getting. That's lafolletnews.com. And of course you can get to ugtv.tv through lafolletnews.com or vice versa, either way you want to go. And so as we go into this pretty weather here, accidents are bad to happen. Your car is likely to break down. I had one today that says, where can I get a new computer reasonable for my automobile? I told him, I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, there's not one place to call. He said, where's that at? And I said, you need to call Napa. Napa has a little bit of everything. Their phone number is 566. Is that what it is? Let's see what it is. 3406. I know that's the last part of it. 562-9406 or 562-2529. And I gave him the number, and he called up, and he got a brain or computer, whatever you want to call it, for his automobile. Cost him $19. I couldn't believe it, I thought I'd just order one new one for me. If I get one for $19, I'll get me a new brain, But that's exactly what it cost him, $19. And if you need auto parts, if you need somebody to tell you what you need to go to Napa Auto Parts. They're located right across from IGA on the 4-lane. They got a big yellow and blue sign out front. It's locally owned. You can go in there and see Randy. It means something to him for you to buy from him. He has good help in there. They don't have to they don't ask you, say, well, what's the part number, They'll find what you need without a part number. In fact, they will come up with a part number. That's Napa Auto Parts. Need to go in there. They got all sorts of things. They're more reasonable than most places on their starting fluid. They've got a special on a gallon of oil. Yeah, a gallon of oil. $8 something. Yeah. And then, of course, they got their usual special on their oil change, which is 5 quarts of oil and a filter for your car for $17.99. They got a 55-gallon drum of oil. I do remember that price, $551. Now, I remember when you could buy it for 25 cents a quart. But things changes, and they got the cheapest price. That's a fleet price on their oil. And I believe that's about $8 and something a gallon if you divide 55 into $51, something like that. I don't know. It's cheap anyhow. I got a whole book of specials there. If you go in there and buy something, get Randy and them to give them one of their books. Got all them specials in it. They've got lawnmower batteries for $22. And I couldn't beat that anywhere. I couldn't even buy a used one. So I went over to Master Battery in Knoxville, and they sell used batteries. And I couldn't beat that price over there on a used battery, and that's a new Napa battery. It's not a used battery. So be sure to remember Napa Auto Parts, 562-9604, up there on 4-lane right across from IGA. And we mentioned a while ago, not only is your automobile subject to have a breakdown, you might have a breakdown. That might happen to you. You might need to go to the hospital. You might need to transportation from the hospital to a nursing home. You might need any number of things that Vital Care, medical transport, can provide for you. This is a locally owned, privately run ambulance service operating right here in Campbell County. When you see them going down the road, you don't have to worry about it costing the taxpayers anything. because they pay their own way. And you know, I've told you for many, many weeks that they were providing the coverage after dark for La Follette because Campbell County ambulance service just wasn't able to provide that coverage. And then Campbell County ambulance service came up with a way to provide that coverage for La Follette. They took the ambulance that they had assigned to down at Caryville in the lower part of Jacksboro and moved it up here so they could provide coverage to La Follette. Now, I don't know what that does to the coverage down in Jacksboro, lower part of Jacksboro, and in Caryville. But they did move an ambulance up this way so they could cover La Follette. So I don't know, it's 6 to 1.5 dozen. I don't know whether they moved that one. They'd only had one headlight, what they did with it, but I haven't been out much at night, so I don't know whether that was still running around with just one headlight or not. But you can bet your life that all of the ambulances that VitaCare operates, they got all the headlights. Their personnel are all trained and properly equipped. And they're ready to serve you. That's 562-9370. That's VitaCare. And so give them a call. Now, this covers about all of our sponsors, I reckon. So what else we got here? Well, no, not quite. We have missed 2 very important ones. One of them is a favorite of mine. Well, both of them are. Go down there to Wilson's Propane. I went down by there today, and he was there just mixing up that summer propane right and left. You know, it's almost like making compost. He does it just about like you make compost. ugtv.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
Well, I'm just wondering about you this evening, and was watching TV and saw that our president went over to visit the troops today, and wondered if I might get your ideas on what might be happening there. I don't know what you're talking about tonight, but you know, we went and visited our fine troops in Afghanistan today.
Right.
And it's
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about, well, we're just doing mostly our advertising, talking about how pretty the weather was, you know. We brought up 1 or 2 items, I think, that are going on here in the county. And what's important for you tonight?
Well, it's important to me that our president found his way to Afghanistan and is addressing our troops in a nice fashion. And if one didn't already have one's mind made up as to what's going on with this election, one might think that that's a real good election ploy to
Well, you know,
celebrate the death of bin Laden by going to Afghanistan.
right. Well, you know, we got an election coming up locally, and I'm very much convinced that if we're going to clean this country up, we're going to have to start on the local level. And we've got Campbell County, for some reason or other, I've become convinced is nothing more than a police state. We have more police officers, and not just police officers, but sheriffs. We have Jacksboro Police Force. We have the Caryville Police Force. We've got Jellicoe Police Force. We've got La Follette Police Force. We've got the Highway Patrol here. We've got the Sheriff's Department. And I went down to North Carolina last week, I believe it was last week, And we were down there in Greensboro, North Carolina, and in Burlington, North Carolina, two pretty good-sized cities, and we have yet to see a policeman. And their crime rate is so much less than what we have up here. You know, we've got probably one policeman for every 300 people up here, or something like that, but that's somewhere close. And down there, they've got one policeman for probably for every 10,000 people. And I just wonder if that doesn't tell us something.
Well, I know that local politics is just dirty wherever they are, it seems to me. And up here where I live, we don't have we have fiscal court, and y'all have that county commission. And our fiscal court up here, if you don't have to watch them very close to see, and I'm pretty much sure that it goes on everywhere else. You don't have to watch very close to see that there's a whole lot of jobs created for certain people, and it sounds like our judicial system has got so much money that they're going to contribute somewhere, even if it's building big new courthouses that reach to the sky, and invest all the money and that goes along with that. I have no idea what the budget is that whereby they can hire so many.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty considerable. You know, if we were to look at it and maybe analyze exactly what our needs are, it might wind up like the finance office here in this county. You know, county is much larger than us. Anderson County and Blount County, they have about 6 people in their finance office. In Campbell County, we have 20. And I just wonder if that might just be the same case as far as the sheriff's department and the police departments. You got game wardens, you got the highway patrol up here, you've got constables running around. So you got all sorts of law enforcement officials running around here, and I just wonder if, since we have all those, why our crime rate is so much higher than these places that don't have them.
Well, the police officers have been hired. They get up here. They get all kinds of accolades. You know, we're so happy to have them all. But every time you turn around, there they are. And I guess because they're so waiting to cite us for whatever they can, that they have to make their quota, I'm sure. But say if we make a difference in the local government, where would be a good starting place to see that a difference can be made? You know that after you've got all these jobs created, Bob, they're always going to be around. They're not going to do away with them, are they? Ever?
Well, you know, I don't envy the guys that are on the police force or the sheriff's department. I don't envy their job one bit. A lot of times they put their lives on the line in order to enforce the laws of this county. And so I'm not concerned about the average guy that's walking the beat. Of course, you know, they don't even want him to walk the beat on the walking trail. They want him to ride the beat on the walking trail. And I don't envy the job they have to do anyhow. But I think it's about like anything else. If you get an overabundance of officers, whether it be sheriffs or whether it be police, then they start looking for something to do. And in most cases, they take the path of least resistance. I believe I gave you a little account of my going down to one of the beer joints down in Caryville. I was down there to see if I could sell a TV. I had a big TV I wanted to sell. And when I pulled out, I wasn't there 15, 20 minutes. And when I pulled out, one of our county officers came by, and he saw me pulling out into the road. So he went down the road a little bit and pulled over and waited for me to come by him. Then he proceeded to follow me from there about Motel 8, followed me down to the stoplight. I made a right turn, came up the 4-lane. He followed me from there all the way to Walmart. I knew it was back there. And didn't bother me, at all until he pulled a blue light on me. And when he did, I got out and asked him just what his problem was, And he proceeded to ask me where I'd been, which I told him was none of his business. And it's not anybody's business certainly not law enforcement where I go, or where you go, or where anybody goes. That was Russia, where you had to have credentials to go from one section of town to the other. You had to show ID, you had to prove that you had a legal right to be where you were. Well, here in this country, supposedly they're supposed to prove that you are not where you're supposed to be, that you are not legally where you ought to be. And it's a completely reverse situation supposedly here in this country. But he asked me where I'd been. I told him one of his business, and then I said, well, you know where I've been because you pulled around waiting on me to come out. And he said, well, that was just a question. I said, well, that was just an answer I gave you also. And about that time, you had 2 or 3 other law enforcement officers to pull in, and I asked him if that wasn't a terrible waste of taxpayers' money to have all those officers to congregate around one 77-year-old man who wasn't doing anything but riding up the road and minding his own business. And eventually he told me to go home, and I said something else, which it wasn't smart. It was just something else. He said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to charge you with disorderly conduct. I said, well, if it's disorderly conduct for me to say what I want to say while I'm on public property, I said, you just go ahead and arrest me. And he finally just got in his cruiser in disgust because he thought he was going to have easy picking. He'd have an easy fee that he could grab by stopping somebody just come out of a beer joint. But it didn't work out quite that way.
Well, were you talking any tonight about the Tennessee tort reform that's been in the paper?
Huh?
Tennessee tort reform.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we need some Tennessee tort reform. We need some tort reform as far as the national level is concerned also.
They did some, but it's kind of a bum job, I think.
What?
They did a tort reform, but I think it's kind of a bum job.
Right. Already done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any of the changes, I'm talking to Ronnie also, do you know any of the changes that they brought about?
No.
Well, I think they did a little something on the judges and what they would do if they were incapacitated. I think that was part of it. Well, they recently did something on that. I don't know whether that was part of the tort reforms or not.
Well, it's the paper read how the governor had applauded the passage of the Tennessee Civil Justice Act. I don't know what the Tennessee Civil Justice Act is, but I thought maybe you might know.
We're looking into it. We don't have the details yet.
Okay.
We'll make a cameo appearance here.
Right. You got it?
Okay.
No, this is something else.
We got something on it here.
This is not the tort reform.
Okay. All right.
Well, it seems like the governor's in agreement with it, though. So whatever it is, y'all gonna get it. You're gonna get this new Civil Justice Act, and I don't know where we're supposed to go to get all this information about this stuff that the government's doing, but
Right.
the state government. I know we've got an election right now coming up for representative up here, and
You have to pass it before you know what's in it. You have to pass it to find out what's in it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. It's about like the health care bill. You got to pass it in order to find out what's in it.
Well, we've already done that. We did that with the health care, and now we're trying to get it turned around, and I don't think that's going to happen either, but no, it might.
Well, everybody, a lot of times when they pass these reforms and everything, when you get down to it, they've always got something thrown in there that basically nullifies all the changes they've made.
Well, it says that the legislation is to revise the state the civil justice system to make Tennessee more competitive for new jobs. Well, you think you get some of those new jobs in Campbell County, Bob?
I think you're getting new jobs in Campbell County, Bob.
Well, you know, I brought this up, and it's real sad. You know, our